How's it going, creeps? Welcome to episode 17 of Cinema Creep, a Black Mass Films podcast where we dissect all things vile, disgusting, and downright terrifying in the world of horror cinema. I'm Justin.
And I'm Andrew.
And we have been away for a little bit, but we're going to get into the swing of things. Of course, first of all, with a shout out to our sponsor, Everblack Coffee. If you go to everblackcoffee.com, you can order some of the best coffee that you will probably ever have, in my opinion. So go check that out and, show them some love and pick up a bag. So that being said, Andrew, we have not recorded a show in 3-4 weeks now since the Halloween special.
Yeah, it took a toll on us, guys. No podcast November is what Justin was calling it.
November.
So, I mean, we've had a lot going on, you especially. I mean, you had some big things going on, if you want to talk about that. I mean...
Yeah. So I finally got married.
Finally.
I mean,
he was finally able to get somebody to marry. That's the way you said it. I was finally able to court a wife.
I mean, that's kind of true. But, so we've been engaged for so we got engaged in December of 2018. And we were going to get married last year, but, then she got pregnant. We had Poppy, and we wanted to put it off a little bit and, settle into, establishing being parents and that sort of thing. And she didn't want to be pregnant in a wedding dress. So, I completely understand. So we knew from the beginning that we wanted it to be like a fall thing. We wanted it to be in October, because that's the greatest month of the year. But the venue that we really liked was booked up through October. So the best we could do is November. But so we've been planning this for, a long time. That's why I say finally. And after booking the venue and stuff, it took like a year of, figuring out the theme we wanted, how we wanted it set up. And then, of course, COVID is a big thing. So we had to cut our guest list way down. To just the close family and close friends and stuff like that. And then also figure out how we were going to, what safety provisions we were going to provide for COVID and that sort of thing. So, but I think it was a pretty good time. You were there.
Yeah, I was there, guys. It was a pretty nice wedding. It was a pretty nice wedding. I mean, Justin plays it off like they had to scale back and all that, but you couldn't tell. I mean, of course there was, like you said, safety restrictions and, but like they didn't scale back on like the quality of anything. It was a nice ceremony, nice reception, nice. It was a good time. It was a good time.
But
did you know?
Other than that, I mean, go ahead.
Did you know that at one point, Justin? Just for you, I think we need to have a Scottish horror episode. And I was just looking at Scottish horror, and there's one called Dark Highlands from 2018.
I've heard of this, but I have not seen this.
Me neither. I think we need to watch some of these at some point and report back to the podcast. The Wicker Man is apparently from 1973 on Scottish horror. I don't know. I don't remember much about the Wicker Man. I just remember...
I don't remember the original. I do, however, unfortunately remember the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Isn't that the one where he's also like, not the bees?
Yeah, not the bees. And he's like, would you get in the bag? A shark or something? Nicolas Cage. Love that guy.
Good old Nicolas Cage. But
so the Thanksgiving special... Right? This is the Thanksgiving special. So if you guys are listening on Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, or before Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you were able to spend some time with family in a social distanced way. And don't piss them off too bad talking about politics around the table this year.
Oh, that's going to be fun. That's always like the big thing at, my family's Thanksgiving, but it's going to be okay.
You stole this election. You stole the election.
You stole it. So between that and like people asking me why I'm not eating turkey, and then me saying, "No, it's cool. I'm a vegetarian," and then I'm gonna get those looks, and then get like speeches about how I shouldn't be a vegetarian. Yeah, because this isn't my first rodeo. This isn't the first time I've been a vegetarian. This definitely isn't my first vegetarian Thanksgiving, so it won't be the first time that I've been ridiculed, but I'm prepared this time. I've got that thick skin. I'm good for it.
Got that thick Scottish skin.
I got that big dark energy, you know?
Well, lucky for me.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, lucky for me, I'm having a very scaled back Thanksgiving, and I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably doing the same. We'll stop and see family a little bit and stuff, but with having a 16-month-old and
everybody wants to see him.
Yeah. Well, it's already, you and I can't help being around a lot of people anyway because of our day job and stuff. And then, Katie's day job. So we try to limit the people that we can control. So.
Yeah. Well, so naturally, guys, if you did not read the title of the podcast here, we have to review or talk about a Thanksgiving horror film, and naturally Thanksgiving would be the one to do, but we will save you guys. I really
don't want to talk. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that for an hour.
We'll spare you Thanksgiving until 2021 because 2020 has been bad enough. So we've decided to go with Justin's pick of Blood Rage from 1987. The little gem that is so shitty they named it 3 times. So Blood Rage, a.k.a. Nightmare at Shadow Woods / slasher. So when you watch the movie, Justin, it actually just says slasher in the opening credits, which is hilarious.
Yep. And they didn't even bother changing that, which I want to point out before we move completely away from Thanksgiving, as terrible as that movie is. And it's not even one of those, it's so bad, it's good. For some reason, every November I watch that fucking movie.
Yep.
So I don't know why, but that's it. But yeah, so Blood Rage, the story from what I understand is when it was in production, it was called Slasher, and then it was released very limited as Nightmare at Shadow Woods, and then when it finally came to home video, it was renamed Blood Rage.
Yes. So before recording this podcast, I've only seen this movie twice, and I thought that I hadn't seen it. And then when I watched it this last time, I realized I have seen it before. It's just I only remembered certain parts of it, maybe because of my original viewing of it. I was kind of zoning in and out watching it, probably picking up my phone, messing with my phone, and it's a fun movie, Justin. It's a fun movie, but it's just one of those movies that, to me, it's not the greatest. But if you're a fan of horror, then there's enough here to keep you entertained. Like if you actually like horror, and I'm not talking about just like like modern horror, but if you like older slashers, it has that charm, right? It has the charm of movies like Drive-In Massacre or like Motel Hell or The Burning, right? A little bit. To where it's not very well acted. It's not very well produced. It's not really shot necessarily really well. And the story's very thin. But for some reason, you find yourself just entranced in it, right? Because like I said, the first time I couldn't give a fuck less about it, but maybe I was preoccupied. This last time when I watched it, I was like, okay, I was all in, right? And I don't know. The tagline's gnarly that they repeat 80 times throughout the film.
Oh my God, yeah. It's not cranberry sauce.
Yeah,
what he says that in that one scene, he's like, it's not cranberry sauce, Artie.
Yeah.
It's not cranberry sauce. And then he says it again to himself in the woods, like just randomly. But yeah, I agree.
I can't wait to drop that at Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, it's not cranberry sauce. But I mean, I agree. This movie is one of those, it's goofy. It's definitely super campy. This to me falls in line. Like this is something I would watch with like Sleepaway Camp or something like that. Like it falls in those movies that they're not cinematic masterpieces by any means. They're not cerebral. They don't take a whole lot. Like you can just mindlessly watch them, but they're fun. And I think that, real quick, like to speak generally about me as a filmmaker and a movie, fan, I think that's what like gravitates me towards horror so much. A lot of people, they talk about, oh, well, horror, it's a bullshit genre, or it's so easy, or it's a brain dead genre. but I think those movies that get that reputation, people are watching them in the wrong way. Like films like this, this isn't something that's going to be held to the standard of, say, like The Witch or The Lighthouse or something like that. This is just a fun, cheesy B movie, you know, like,
or it's not something that's going to be held to the same standard as what is it? Lost Boys came out in 1987. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good stuff coming out at 1987. You know,
right. Well,
Monster
this was
Squad.
Also filmed in 1983.
Oh, that's true.
So
it wasn't released until 87. That's true.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like you can tell they had fun making this movie. Like, who wouldn't have had fun, you know, with some of the gore gags and
the gore was awesome. The gore was awesome.
The goofy script and stuff like that. So
just before we jump into talking about some of the beats in the film, Justin, I'm going to talk about like you said, this was actually filmed in 1983. It wasn't released until 1987, right? But in 1987, I did a little bit of homework here to see what other movies came out in 87, right? That contained the word blood. So there was Blood Diner, Blood Frenzy, Blood Harvest, Blood Hook, Blood Lake, Blood Soldiers, Bloody New Year, Bloody Wednesday, and of course, Blood Rage. So
interesting. It was the year of the blood.
It was a bloody good year, 1987. I was 1 year old. What's up?
Yeah.
If that ages me for all of you listeners out there. But yeah, so this was written by Bruce Rubin. He was credited as Richard Lambden, and directed by John Grismer. And these two guys, Justin, they didn't have a whole lot of credits. Did you notice that?
I did. I was looking at their IMDb because I wanted to like write some cool notes. And I do want to point out that who was it that did Recess?
That was
strangely enough, it was Bruce Rubin, who was credited as Richard Lambden, but he wrote Blood Rage, and he also wrote an episode of Recess. I don't know if any of you remember it used to come on Fox Kids or something.
Fox Kids. I don't know. I know the show you're talking about, the cartoon. Yeah. But it was definitely a kid's cartoon, so it's kind of weird that he did that. And as well as Zapped. I've never seen Zapped, but it was like it looks like a very weird science type of movie. At least the cover does. Apparently some kids get telekinetic power to fight some bullies or something like that. It's to be honest with you, it looks like some bullshit, but we love bullshit here at Cinema Creep, so we'd probably watch it.
Yep.
And then John Grismer did Scalpel. Didn't you buy that recently? Was that Scalpel you bought, or what did you buy?
No, I bought The Surgeon.
Oh, okay. It's like the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Found a little shitty clamshell. I think that one's no, that one's not the clamshell. But I did, buy this shitty little VHS called Scalpel.
Surgeon.
That has, The Surgeon. I think it has Malcolm McDowell in it, but still haven't even watched it yet. But maybe we can do a double feature of Scalpel and The Surgeon.
Hell yeah. You guys don't want to miss that episode. All right.
Hell no, you don't.
So Blood Rage, 1987, a.k.a. Slasher, a.k.a. Nightmare at Shadow Woods. The synopsis is, as kids, Todd is institutionalized for murder whilst his twin goes free. 10 years later on Thanksgiving, Todd escapes and a killing spree begins in the neighborhood. So let's talk about this a little bit, right, Justin? So the film starts out 1974 in Jacksonville, Florida. They're at a drive-in. This is where things just automatically get weird right from the get, right? Because you've got Todd and Terry, they're twins. They're sleeping in the back seat of a station wagon, and for some
with a random ass rifle,
right? They have a fucking rifle laying on top of them. Because I was sure that was going to play a part in the movie, right? But no, it's just like, hey, just throw the rifle back there with the kids, even though they're sleeping.
Throw it on there. Just throw it.
So their mom is trying to fuck some weird dude, and he's wearing like this super rad bird shirt. He's actually trying to make sweet love to her at the drive-in, because it has this little montage going from car to car, and it shows all these people just like making out and doing all this stuff, and then of course it gets to their car. And
Wait, before it gets to their car, what's the coolest part about this whole opening scene?
It's a good question. Tell me.
Ted Raimi, dude.
Oh yeah, selling the condoms in the bathroom.
Yes. So, if you guys are horror buffs, if not, well, Ted Raimi is Sam Raimi's younger brother. Sam Raimi, of course, writer and director of The Evil Dead. Ted Raimi, this is his acting debut, and he has a cameo of this dude like wearing a badass hat. I'm sorry, I like that fucking hat. I would rock that hat. But he's
you don't like a condom vest?
No, not the condom vest. He's like black market style peddling some condoms.
Wasn't he like, what do you like? And that guy was like, I like the Trojans.
Oh, yeah. The dude's like, yeah, man, I like Trojans. So he's got some brand loyalty.
Customers.
Some brand loyal customers. But yeah, so, I mean, it's a fun little thing. The first time I saw this movie, I was like, is that Ted fucking Raimi?
Well, that's one thing, too, is like they didn't fuck around with product placement in this. I don't know whether it was a thing, right? Because they were showing Nike left and right. They were close up on Nike shoes. Everybody was wearing Nike polos and Nike socks. And then like Trojan's name was out there. I mean, of course, product placement was prevalent in cinema. Like it still is. But like in a movie like this, you wouldn't think that like Trojan would be like, yes, sign me up, guys, sign me up for the movie Slasher. We want a spot in that. And Nike would be like, fuck yes, Blood Rage. That's what I'm talking about. Phil Knight's like, give me that Blood Rage.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. But yeah, so the mom is trying to screw this dude. But she's like, no, I can't do it with my kids back there. And this guy's not giving up. So he's like, oh, well, they're, and she's like, well, they'll be asleep for like an hour and a half. And so Terry wakes up. Right, Terry's a major dickhead. So first of all, he's an asshole. Second of all, he wakes up, sees that his mom is trying to fuck. So he says, oh, hell no, I'm not going to watch this, right? And he wakes up his brother, Todd, which first of all, those are two terrible names for kids. I'm sorry if your name is Terry and Todd, but like, whatever. And then they roll out of the back of the car, right, undetected. So that shows you how much that their mom just does not give a fuck, because they open the tailgate of the station wagon, right? And they just get out and like she does not hear him. And then Terry and Todd are gone into the night.
Which they would have heard that shit.
Especially in an old car, right? Because all the lights are going to come on.
He says something. They wake up and he's basically, I don't remember what he says verbatim, but Terry basically looks at Todd and he's like, hey, mom's on that bullshit again. Let's fucking get out of here.
Mom's trying to fuck again. Let's get up out of here. We don't need another brother with a T name.
Yeah. Terrence.
We don't need a Terrence.
Trevor.
So they roll up out of the car and they start walking around, right? Just doing what kids do, I guess. They're sort of walking around the drive-in and just peeping around stuff. And dickhead Terry finds an axe in the back of a pickup truck. And he's like, guess what, guys? I'm going to take this. So he steals this axe, right? So him and his brother Todd are like peeking in cars, right? Just being perverts, looking at people make out and stuff. And then the next thing they do, Justin, right, is they find a couple getting busy in the back seat of a car. And and then Terry gets noticed, right? And the dude starts yelling at him. And then Terry, being the dickhead that he is, he's like, guess what, motherfucker? I'm going to chop you in the face. And he just starts chopping the dude in the face. Just starts chopping him in the face.
Then the mom's like, oh shit, my kids are gone. And everyone runs out, and then it cuts to this like wide shot. And Terry hands the axe to Todd. Todd's just like, okay.
Which, yeah. And so that's the problem. Todd's a fucking idiot. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, then, Terry wipes blood on his face and he starts screaming. He's like, Mom, Todd just hurt those people. But if you notice, the crowd of people come running over there because they hear the screams. They see Terry give him the axe, dude, and nobody says a word.
No, the fucking girl so when he's chopping this dude in the face, this guy is like, he's like having sex with this girl, and they're missionary, right? So she looks up and she sees that he's getting chopped in the face. So there's no way that she can't see this fucking this kid. Like, I would think she'd be able to see this kid, and she's just like, whatever. I'm gonna let him blame it on the other twin because fuck that other idiot, Todd. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, you have to have major suspension of disbelief to watch this film. I'm just going to go ahead and warn you.
So you know the dumbass look that young Michael Myers gives after he kills his little sister, or after he kills his sister, not his little sister.
At the beginning.
Right, and he's just looking as his parents are yelling at him. It's the same exact shit in this movie where Todd is
that's what the director said. Yeah, the director was like, give me that young Michael Myers shit.
Give me that young Michael Myers shit. Come on, Todd, do it. Yep. But yeah, so Todd's an idiot, and he continues to be an idiot throughout the film, but we'll talk more about that. So, of course, Terry blames Todd for the murder because he's a dickhead, and Todd gets institutionalized for 10 years. Thanks a lot, Terry, you asshole. And then Justin, from there, I mean, you fast forward to Thanksgiving, and that's why all of a sudden this becomes a Thanksgiving movie. Mm-hmm. So the family, it cuts to a scene, right? The family's gathered around the table, and Terry finds out his mom is going to be engaged and takes it real hard, like a fucking 8-year-old, right? He's like, like, oh, God damn it. Like, I don't want to step
he's being a petty little asshole, too, because he's like, well, I guess since we've got a new head of the household, you can start pulling your weight around here and makes him cut the turkey.
Right. And it's like, this dude, like, he like runs the apartment complex they live in. It's like, look here, motherfucker. Like, who are you?
I'll have you and your mom out on your ass.
No shit. And then, so the family ends up toasting the occasion, right? Because everybody else is stoked on it. And of course, Terry toasts with a glass of milk. Like, what the fuck is that about? Like, everybody else is drinking like champagne or like regular ass shit. And Terry's like, guess what? I've got an entire like 16-ounce glass full of milk because I'm a fucking weirdo. Okay.
Well,
whatever.
You know what they weren't excited for?
What weren't they excited for?
How long it took that motherfucker to cut the turkey.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, the mom was like,
they were even like,
dig in on everything else.
Yeah. And then they're like, come on, man, hurry up. And he's like, I'm working on it.
Yeah. Maybe Brad. See, Brad was his name. I'm going to refer to him as New Dad Brad. Maybe he was maybe he was an idiot too. And maybe just Terry was like, whatever, this guy, it takes him 30 minutes to cut this turkey. So fuck him,
Maybe this whole time Terry understands that most of these people are idiots.
No shit.
And he's just eliminating the idiots.
Maybe he's doing us a favor.
I know. Well, Katie was watching like the second half of this with me, and she just kept asking questions like, well, why the hell like would you do that? And I'm like, babe, I basically told her like what I just said. Your suspension of disbelief for this movie has to be insane, because you have to understand that if this movie was taking place in real life, no one, at least the 95% of the people involved, wouldn't be as dumb as you have to be for the shit to happen to you that's happening in this movie.
Yeah.
So maybe he just had it figured out the whole time.
Yeah, maybe. Like, so conveniently, everybody, right? So Justin at just happens at Thanksgiving dinner, right? The institution loses Todd. Well, actually, let's back up 2 seconds, right? So before Thanksgiving dinner, the mom goes to the institution, right? And she goes to visit
to bring
Todd.
him some pie.
Yeah, so she takes him pie every Thanksgiving. And so Todd, acting like an asshole like Terry, which he sort of has a reason, right? Like, he sort of has a reason to be an asshole at this point, but he decides his mom gives him the pie, he's gonna just start crumbling it in his hands, right? And I was like, what the fuck is this dude doing? And then he stands up and he throws it at the wall, and like, then he falls to his knees.
Wasting some perfectly good fucking pie.
You don't waste pumpkin pie, not in this household.
You don't waste pumpkin anything.
Yeah. But and then they go and they have that little scene we just talked about with Terry being a dick and toasting with a glass of milk. And then just coincidentally at Thanksgiving dinner, the mom gets a call from the institution and they're like, guess what? We lost Todd. And she's like, what the fuck? And so she goes and she tells Terry, because Terry comes in there to say, hey mom, what's going on? I still have this weird infatuation with you. What's going on? And she's like, well, your brother escaped from the institution. She's like, basically don't say shit. And then what does dickhead Terry go and do, Justin?
As soon as this motherfucker sits down, he goes, well, looks like you guys will get to meet the rest of the family because my psycho brother escaped. And then mom's just like, she has a dinner roll in her mouth.
She just is shooting daggers at him the whole time. And she just has this stare. And it's like, fuck, Terry? Like, at this point, can you be any more of an asshole? Like, everybody has a cousin that's Terry. Like, legitimately. Like,
Yep.
I have some cousins that are probably sociopaths just like this. You know, and everybody has a Terry in their family, just a major dickhead. You know, like, you tell them not to do something, they automatically right away go and do the opposite. And you're like, what the fuck is your problem? Terry
is the new Karen.
Yeah. Stop being a Terry.
Or Terry is the male. That is officially the cinema creep male version of a Karen.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be a Terry.
We should make some shirts. Terry.
We should make some shirts that say "Don't be a Terry."
Don't be a Terry. Yeah.
But yeah, Justin, I think it's that time for a break, and then we'll come back and find out how this movie ends.
Yeah. So let's hear from our sponsor real quick, and then we will dive right back into Blood Rage. How's it going, creeps? One quick mid-episode break to tell you a little more about our sponsor. Since 2016, Everblack Coffee Company has delivered exceptional single-origin coffee and high fives all over the world. They understand that a cup of coffee is so much more than something you drink. That's why they source their beans from farms that only use fair trade and organic growing practices. When you buy coffee from Everblack, you can be certain that you're getting the highest quality coffee available by ethical means only. It's time to start looking at coffee differently. Head over to everblackcoffee.com and grab a bag for yourself. It's deliciously dark. Now back to the show.
All right, Justin. So, of course, after dinner, right, they're trying to clean up the mill and stuff like that. And the mom is getting all stressed out, as she should, right? And I want to talk one thing real quick about that actress. Like, watching her made me feel super uneasy. Like, everything about her. And I think maybe it's because she looks like she would really be somebody's mom and not like, I don't know. She didn't look like a Hollywood actress. You know what I mean? She looked like a real world person. Well, so it was kind of like.
She is, I'll look it up real quick. I don't remember her name, but she is actually, well, for one, I'm pretty sure she used to be married to Wes Anderson. Or not Wes Anderson. What the fuck?
What? I was about to say, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, not Wes Anderson. I don't know why his name is. I'll find that bit of information and you
find it and come back to me. But yeah, so she made me feel super uneasy, and part of it was because I think she reminded me of Willem Dafoe, and every time I think of Willem Dafoe, I think about him in The Lighthouse.
I'm glad that you thought that, because I kept getting like a female Willem Dafoe vibe from her.
That could literally
even
be
the way
his sister.
She delivered her lines. Yeah, like even the way she delivered her lines. But she's actually, so what she's probably most famous for is being on TV and Mary Hartman.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
So she was also married to Woody Allen.
Which is weird, because wasn't Woody Allen like sort of like a pedophile? Didn't he like really young girls?
Yeah, that's the story. So she was born in 1939.
What?
So
what?
Yeah, dude.
And well, this was out in. Okay, that makes sense. Well, was she okay? Yeah. So she was what, like 40 something in this? That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was just trying to wrap my head around. I was like, wait a minute. She looked really good for somebody that was born in 1939, but, like, whatever. My time is all misconstrued.
Yeah, but Wes Anderson's going to hear this episode and be like, the fuck you? What the fuck?
The fuck you say?
The fuck? I didn't center frame that shit.
Yeah, the fuck you say? I was 8 when she was in this movie. But yeah, so of course they start putting away all the leftovers and doing all that bullshit you got to do after you eat Thanksgiving dinner, like the worst part of the day. And the dad is like, you know what? Or not the dad, but new dad Brad is like, hey, you know what? You go to the bedroom, take a load off. I'm gonna put all this away and do all this for you. So he seems like a decent guy, right? He seems like he would have been very good as a stepdad to Terry, but Terry just wants to be a dick, because as new dad Brad is saying this in the kitchen and hugging on his mom, Terry's in the kitchen as well, and he picks up a knife. You can see him kind of looking at it, and you're like, oh, goddamn, this isn't going to go good for Brad. And of course, right? So new dad Brad goes into the bedroom where
he tries to stuff the turkey.
He does. He tries to stuff the turkey again. And his problem is like, she's like, no, you know what? So first of all, let's talk about new dad Brad kind of being scummy. I know I said he's kind of a good guy, but then you kind of realize he's kind of scummy, right? Because this woman just found out that like her fucking psychotic killer, alleged psychotic killer son just escaped from an institution, and this dude's trying to fuck. You know what I mean? He's like, and she's like, no, I'm stressed out. And he's like, yeah, I don't care. Come here, and he just like is persistent. Right.
Yeah.
And she's
then he eventually does. He's like, all right, well, look, if he shows up, I'm here. We'll handle it. But he does push the issue.
Right. And all the while, dickhead Terry is standing at the door, and they don't even notice. Terry. He's just like, what's up? Like this is what I do. This brings me back to those station wagon days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, them good old station wagon days.
Except I don't have a rifle laying on top of me. But in his room, he has a fucking AR, like an AR-15, just like chilling on his bookshelf. Right? Did you notice that?
No.
Yeah. It's when his brother goes into their house later on in the film. And did you notice they have the Yoda head on the desk?
Yeah, I noticed the Yoda head.
But up on the bookshelf, there's like a fucking AR-15 or something like that, just fucking up there chilling. And I'm like, why is he not killing people with this?
Right.
But okay, so after new dad Brad, is trying to stuff the turkey, all of a sudden they get a knock on the door, and everybody's like, oh, what the fuck is that? Because everybody thinks it's going to be Todd. So they run to the door, and next thing you know, this dude in a cut-off hoodie sweatshirt strong arms Terry and shoves him up against the wall, right? And he has a gun, and he puts it in his face, and they're like, oh shit, what's going on? And they thought that Terry was Todd when they came to the door, because it was Dr. Berman, which is Todd's doctor from the institution. And they're like, no, it's just a tranquilizer gun. I'm sorry, we thought you were Terry, or we thought you were Todd. Holy fuck, these names. We thought you were Todd. And they're like,
right. Well, real quick. So I went and I pulled up the film, and I'm at that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think that M16 or AR-15. I think that's a
M16.
It's definitely an M16. I feel like that's a toy, and that's probably, I think that's what was laying over them in the back seat of the station wagon at the beginning. For whatever reason, well, I guess this was the 80s. Mom was like, sure, kids, you can bring this, real looking M16 toy with us to the movies.
Times were different back then. Listen.
Yeah. There's also a machete on the shelf, though.
So,
and a big ass, right there, right in front of my face, there's a Nike shoe, just one.
Yeah, just hanging from the top, right?
Yeah.
Just hanging from the laces from the top of the bookshelf. So that makes it all make sense, right? So maybe it was a toy gun in the back seat, and maybe a
it's
toy
still
gun
random.
He has propped up on his. It is random as fuck, and it was an M16, right? My bad. I just talking points of modern day whatever.
No, you're good. I mean, I was
but
like, but it's for it being the 80s. That was the gun.
Oh yeah,
it was totally a machete too, though.
Yeah, no, I had toy M16s.
I had several M16s as a kid. I had several of them.
Well, let me tell you what, guys. I was born in Texas, right? So I was stereotypically raised as a Texas kid, and I would have, I don't recall wearing a cowboy hat, but I wore a Texas Rangers baseball cap. But I did have the cowboy revolvers and the little holsters that I wore around as like.
Oh, dude, I had those too. Like the little pop guns that had the little, like the caps that you put in, and it would like blast the gunpowder. Hell yeah.
I took them everywhere, and I would just start blasting. I would see somebody just start blasting.
I was just blasting. I can totally see you though as the kid from Willy Wonka.
The fat kid?
No, no, the kid that was obsessed with TV. What was his name? The one that he had like the cowboy guns.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, that probably was me because I had a little blonde mullet, and it may sound cool now, right? Like because we talk about Kiefer Sutherland's mullet in The Lost Boys was pretty gnarly. He had a fashion mullet. I had like a white trash mullet.
Yeah, but see, Kiefer Sutherland though, he was Billy Idol in the front and Billy Ray Cyrus in the back. Like the Billy Idol in the front made up for it.
I was like Billy Ray Cyrus all over. Anyways, so back to the show, right? So after New Brad Dad, you know, we talk about the manager of the institution, right? Or the doctor of the institution. I mean, what was it? Dr. Berman. She shows up with her lackey, just some random dude. Like, they don't even say, oh, this is this guy. It's a nurse. It's just she shows up with this muscle bound guy that's wearing like a cut off hoodie and he's like muscle bound and shit. And it's like, you know, he's like, you know, just willy nilly, like has this tranquilizer gun and pointing in people's faces and shit. And, you know, like, who is this dude?
Yeah, but he reminded me of the dude from Trailer Park Boys that's always running around with Mr. Leahy.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And
what was his name? Randy.
Yep.
No, yeah.
No?
Was it?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember.
It was
I know who
Randy.
you're talking about, though.
It's Randy. But yeah, so this is their Randy, and he's got the fucking tranquilizer gun.
So he shoves his tranquilizer gun all up in Terry's face, and I wish he would have fucking shot him and just ended the movie there. I'd been like, oh, good God, this is great. Done. But no, you know, he gets called down. They're like, okay, that's not Todd, that's Terry. And then this is... So new dad Brad has waited up until this point to flex on us that he is the manager of the apartments that they live in. So he's just like, what the fuck ever, guys. Like, you know what? I'm the manager here. I'm out. I'm going to my office because the doctor's like, okay, well, we're going to look around the grounds to see if Todd's anywhere out there. He's like, well, we've got 10 acres and a nature trail out here. So he's like flexing and like talking about like, oh, check out these luxury apartments here when they look like shit. But he's like, we got a nature trail. We're 10 acres, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'll be down in my office. Give me a call if you guys need anything. He wasn't like, hey, guess what? I'm going to take, I don't even know her name in the film. I feel so bad. Terry's mom. I'm going to take her down here with me to make sure she's safe. Is it Maddie? It might be Maddie. He's like, yeah, I'm going to take Maddie with me. He's like, no, you stay here, you know, and I'm going to go down to my office, right? So he goes down to his office, right? And,
yeah, it's Maddie.
Okay, so Maddie, she stays there. So Brad goes back to his office to wait on any updates from the doctor. And
he's basically hiding like a bitch. Literally.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what he's doing. And then you got Creep Boy Terry knocks on Brad's door, right? So Brad has this little sliding glass door behind him, and he's sitting there at his desk chilling, right? Watching TV and, you know, just waiting. And you see Terry walk up behind him and knock on the door, the glass door. And you can see he's got a fucking machete, and you're like, oh, good God, here we go. Terry's on that bullshit again. And, you know, he turns around. Brad turns around, and when he does, you know, Terry chops his fucking hand off, right? And this is one of the first like major gore scenes of the film. I mean, you had the head chop in the beginning, but then you have this one, right? This one was pretty gnarly because once the hand falls on the ground, you see it like kind of gripping the can of soda or the can of beer, whatever it was he had in his hand. The fingers are still moving, so it looked pretty rad, right?
Yep.
Don't let me get too long-winded on this because I can go on and talk about Terry and his bullshit. But yeah, he chops his
Terry on that bullshit.
Yeah, he chops his hand off like a dickhead, you know? Like, why? You know? And
right.
And apparently it's just because...
it's basically finally setting off, like, you know, because the thing is he hasn't killed anyone in 10 years, like since the drive-in incident.
That we know of.
And...
that we know of. Apparently Terry just kills people left and right.
That we know of. Well, actually, so if you remember the dialogue or the monologue that the doctor gave, it was like her recording. It was like during the montage of the mom coming to see Terry or see Todd. She's talking about, you know, she suspects that it's Terry, but she can't let him know that she thinks that because she doesn't know what would set him off.
Right.
Because he's been normal for 10 years. Well, he's still been an asshole and a creep, but so what sets him off
is a key point. Yeah, we forgot to mention that the doctor thinks that and she did mention to the mom that it's Terry and not Todd that killed the guy at the drive-in.
Yeah, and the mom's like, that can't be true. Yeah. So basically the doctor's the only one that believes Todd. So now that Todd has escaped, Terry's like, oh shit, I got to get on that bullshit again because He's coming. So he's also trying to cover it up and make it look like Todd, since he's escaped, is now doing all this shit.
Well, if you're the mom, though, like, can you really blame, like, thinking that it was Todd? Because Todd's a total dumbass. Like, Terry's a dickhead, but Todd's a dumbass. Like, you know, he's just going to stand there with the axe in his hand and just, like, look off in the distance. I'd be like, yeah, it is that fucking weirdo twin right there. It's that one. It's not Terry. Terry's, like, the good boy. Todd's the fucking weirdo.
Todd is like the meme of the dog that's sitting at the kitchen table and everything's on fire, and he's just like, this is fine.
Yeah. No, Todd's like dumbass, but
yeah. Well,
Todd is,
yeah.
So from here, right? So he cuts his fucking hand off with a machete. And so Dr. Berman keeps looking around the apartment complex with Hoodie Vest Guy. And Hoodie Vest Guy is like, you know what? I'm going to go. They decide to split up and go their own separate ways because that's a good idea, right? You're looking for a supposed psychopath. Let's just split up. And of course, the Hoodie Vest Guy smokes weed, right? I mean, it's a given. When you see him, you're like, you know, that fucking guy's from the Jersey Shore. So he like he finds a random somebody's random porch to sit on. Like, he does not give a fuck. He's just like, well, here's the chair, I'm gonna sit, you know, and I'm gonna, you know, light up this joint. And he starts smoking weed right there. And then guess who shows up? Justin.
Good old motherfucking Terry.
Couldn't be dickhead Terry showing up like, hey, what's up, motherfucker? Like, you know.
But he thinks at first it's Todd, and then he's like, God, you guys look alike. He says it like 3 times.
Yeah. To drive
even
home
after
the
they've
point.
established conversation. Yeah, they've established conversation already. He's like, damn, you guys sure do look alike.
He's like, you know what? You look like your dumbass brother, Todd. Yeah. If your head looked a little less like a dick, you would look like your dumbass brother, Todd. But, which in reality, guys, this guy, the guy that actually plays, Justin, if you look up his name, the guy that plays Terry, is it something,
it's Mark Soper.
Mark Soper?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He actually plays both roles, right? He plays Terry and Todd in the film.
Yeah, no, I will say he does a good job convincing me that those are 2 totally different people.
Oh, yeah, because the way he plays Todd is like, you know, is really well. Like, he's a good actor. Like, I really enjoyed watching him play both roles. He gave me a very, like, Terry gave me a very, like, Patrick Bateman, you know? Preppy, well-to-do
a yuppie
kind
asshole
of,
that,
like, sociopath. Yeah, yuppie asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he lights up a fucking joint. Terry rolls up and he's like, guess what, motherfucker? Not my complex, and shoves a machete through his stomach. Which is gnarly, right?
After taking the joint.
Yeah, well,
he's
yeah.
like, you want a puff? And he's like, yeah, man, I'll take a hit. And then he's like, you know, Dr. Berman told me some crazy shit that, you know, Todd never killed anyone. And then he's like, because he didn't. And then shoves the fucking machete through his stomach. And it's like, you're the punchline, dude.
If they would have taken that section of film, Justin, and showed me that in elementary school as an anti-drug PSA, I'd be like, fuck no. Like, no. You know? I mean, of course, I don't do anything, right? But, like, I would, all my life, been more like, you know, fuck that. Because I would be like, I would associate people smoking weed. If you smoke weed, you can get stabbed in the stomach with a machete.
Yeah.
I would be like, fuck no. And I would look at all drug dealers like Terry's. I'd be like, just say no.
Not today.
Just say
no.
no.
Not today. Just say no.
But yeah, so Todd continues to murder, right? He's just like, fuck this. Or not Todd, but Terry continues to murder. And he's like, you know what? I've got a bloodthirst now. And he's just apartment hopping, you know. And
would you say that he's got a blood rage?
I would say he's got a blood rage, right? Because it wouldn't sound right if I said, you know what? You know, he's got a slasher, or you know what? He's what's the other name? He's a nightmare in the shadows, or he's a nightmare at Shadow Woods.
Nightmare at Shadow Woods, because it was Shadow Woods Apartments, which is also just a weird, creepy, random name for apartments.
Why the fuck would you move in somewhere called Shadow Wood? You know that place is fucking haunted. Do you know what I mean? Like, it looked like a Shadow Woods, like, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure those apartments are over here in like Catawba County somewhere. I'm pretty sure I saw them.
Did it look like Shadow Woods though? Because a couple of those the wooded shots were overexposed as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you, well, it's not that they were overexposed. They were way overlit.
So you would call
someone
them.
was like, throw me a 1K on that bitch.
Throw 1K. Put a 6K. Light it with a 6K.
Yeah. Throw me a stinger on that motherfucker.
So
I'm on that light rage.
I'm on that light rage. So Todd continues to murder. Terry continues to murder. Why I keep fucking that up? And Dr. Berman gets murdered, right? And she gets murdered in a very gruesome way, which is a terrible scene. Terrible scene because
it's for one, her actual like the action of her death is off camera.
Her reaction,
and then her reaction, like the mouth wide open, just like, and she doesn't run. She like just stands there, and then she slowly backs up, and then it literally like dissolves into her being cut in half
as this asshole walks 50 yards up to her, and she's just standing there with her mouth open. She's like, it's a guy with a machete. I'm just gonna scream for 5 minutes until he gets up here. And then he just like you said, her death is off camera. And then it cuts to, the good gore gag of somebody being buried in the dirt, and it making it look like they're chopped up in half or whatever, Yeah. But yeah, after that, she's out there getting brutally murdered by Terry. While Maddie, the mom, is on the floor of her kitchen eating leftovers out of the fridge and getting fucked up on wine. I'm like,
dude, she gets so fucking drunk.
So drunk, right? So drunk that new dad Brad could actually go all the way if he was still alive.
If he was still alive, and he wouldn't have died first if he wouldn't have ran away and hid in his little office.
He can't even give her a hand. He can't even give her a hand at this time. Can't even give her a hand.
Nope.
Because that shit was chopped off.
Oh yeah, and then she. Well, I don't know if he could have went all the way because I mean, think about it. She was extremely drunk on wine, but also had a full stomach of like Thanksgiving leftovers. Like that she would have hurled.
She would have.
That would have been a bad time. But so basically from here, it just turns into a typical slasher film, right? You've got all the other people in this apartment complex that are like, oh my God, now Todd's here and he's killing people, when in reality it's Terry, and they keep interacting with Terry. You've got his couple of friends. You've got the new neighbor girl that's home from college, whose major is partying, apparently.
Hell yeah.
Then you've got Terry's girlfriend, and they all think it's Todd, and they're basically being tracked down one by one and killed. You've got the neighbor girl tells Terry, hey, yeah, I got to babysit. You should come over. He comes over and hangs out with her. She's trying to put the moves on him, right? He's not having it.
Terry's straight up a G, though. Like, if you think about it, this dude is just like, his day is booked from end to end, right? Like, he's like, you know what? I've got Thanksgiving. I got to go over here. This girl's trying to sleep with me, but I've got this other girl that's in love with me, and then, I've got these two friends that want to party, and then the girl that's got a degree in partying wants to hang out, and then I've got to kill all these people between 9 o'clock and 11 p.m., It's like, goddamn, Terry. Like, this dude
still has time to shower and change clothes.
He does, right? Like, this dude, time management Terry is his name.
Yeah.
I need to take a note out of his book, because this guy gets some shit done throughout the day.
Oh yeah. Well, so like we said, he's going around, he's killing all these people. He kills the woman, the mother of the baby that the girl that's home from college was babysitting, that he was hanging out with. Kills her shy boyfriend. Then he ends up killing.
Ain't nobody fucking in Shadow Woods.
Hell no.
Ain't nobody fucking in Shadow Woods.
He kills his two friends. And then so things start to take a turn, because like I just mentioned, he does take a shower. So after a couple kills, he's got blood all over his shirt. And he's like standing in the bathroom and he's tasting it. And this is when you the first time you hear him, and he's like, that's not cranberry sauce. And you're like, okay, like you already fucking knew that.
Weirdo.
But yeah. But so he takes a shower, and then the second time he says it is when he kills his friend Artie. He's still trying to make this all look like Todd's doing this. So they're on like this little like boardwalk thing out in the middle of the woods. and there's like literally all of the weapons that he's been like killing people with all night. So Artie's like, look at this. So he picks up, it's like a turkey fork, you know, like the little, like the 2-prong fork that you use to like hold ham or turkey when you're cutting that shit. Yeah. And Terry's like, be careful with that. So he takes it from Artie, and then Artie picks up the machete and he's holding it and he's looking at it. It's clearly got blood all over it. And Artie's just sitting there touching it.
It should have been a red flag. It should have been a red flag when Terry grabbed the fork and he starts fucking giggling looking at it. I would have been like, what the fuck? I'm out of here.
All of that stuff is covered in blood. And he's sitting there looking at the machete. And then he's like, be careful with that. That's not cranberry sauce, Artie. That's not cranberry sauce.
Let me stop.
And then he's like,
go ahead.
And then he's like, oldest trick in the book. He's like, oh, there's Todd. I see him. He's over there. And Artie looks. He's like, where? And then he stabs him through the neck with the fucking meat fork.
I want to stop you right there because I want to talk about the tagline. It's not cranberry sauce. Have you ever said something so fucking cool to yourself? Like you think of it when nobody's around. You're like, I can't wait to say that shit later when other people are around. You know what I mean?
This was Terry's moment.
That's exactly. Yeah. This was Terry's. He was thinking about that shit after he said it in the shower. He was like, God damn, that was cool. And then like
I'm gonna say this several more times.
He's like, I gotta kill some. He went and killed more people just so he could say that shit. He's like, you know what? I've got to kill Artie.
All those. He sat the weapons there for Artie to pick up that were covered with blood, just so he could tell him it's not cranberry sauce.
That's literally why he didn't wipe the blood off the machete, is so he could say that line.
Well, he was also like, which one of my friends is a dumbass enough to not know that that's blood and stand there and just look at it and touch it? Oh, Artie's the dude for this job.
There's fewer people dumber than Todd. Oh, Artie's the one.
Yep, Artie's the one.
He can't even play this fucking video game. You know, like, Artie's the one. He sucks.
Artie's the one
at everything.
So to, you know, not to try to give away every like kill that, you know, comes after that. Basically shit starts to take a turn when, like I said, you know, he takes a shower, changes clothes. So his mom is still like, you know, she's been calling operator, trying to like get a hold of people, telling them, hey, you know, my son's escaped. But she finally goes back to the kitchen.
That scene was annoying as fuck. The whole phone scene. Yeah, dude. I was like,
it was way too long, and like they kept cutting back to it, and I'm like, why? But you know,
like, okay,
they finally, she's back in the kitchen now, and now she's like deep cleaning.
Yeah, she's like cleaning the stove. She's like cleaning out cleaning the oven and shit. I'm like,
yeah. Well, she's like nervous and drunk. And so she's like deep cleaning the kitchen now that she's eaten all the leftovers in the fridge. So she throws something away, and then she like pauses and she's like, wait, what the fuck? And then you see her reach into the trash can, and she pulls out the sweater that Terry was wearing earlier that was covered in blood. So that's when she's like, oh, it was him the whole time. Oh shit, everyone was right. So now, you know, in the meantime, Todd has already found a couple of the friends and tried to tell them, hey, you know, like, it wasn't me. And he even confronts Terry, holds a gun to him, and he's like, you know, he's like, are you going to kill me? And then he just runs away. But so by this point, go ahead.
Just Todd, like what you're saying, he's just a dumbass. He's still a dumbass. 10 years later, he's a dumbass because he, the neighbor girl comes up, or not the neighbor. It is the neighbor girl. I can't remember her fucking name, but she comes up. She's the one that's in love with Terry's girlfriend, and or the one that wants to be Terry's girlfriend, right? That she's like, I want you to make love to me tonight, or whatever that is. But and then like Todd, instead of like pleading his case and being like, because he tries, he's like, well, you know, I'm Todd, I'm not Terry, but he's like, I've never kissed a girl. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Why don't you? Why are you worried about that right now?
Nice. You seem nice. I've never kissed a girl before.
It's like, why are you worried about that right now?
She says, well, you should try it sometime. I got to go. And runs the fuck off.
That was 100% hit me in the feels for middle school.
Yeah,
you should try kissing a girl, you fucking loser. I'm out of here.
So, you know, at this point, everybody, at least most of the people have interacted with Todd, and he's like trying to plead his case, right? But like we've said, he's an idiot and he just can't get the message across without seeming creepy and making everyone think, okay, wow, you really are crazy.
If he'd brush his fucking hair and look less like a psychopath, right? Like
right?
He might have a case. You know, like I understand the dude has been institutionalized for 10 years, but he's like, he looks like he's been living in the fucking streets for 10 years. It's like, what the fuck? Did they not give you a brush? Did they not, like, you know, I don't know, tell you to wash your face? Right. They made him look like he was like a feral person, you know? Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what were you saying?
Well, so, you know, also everyone that has interacted with him, or at least the one person that believed him that he wasn't the killer, they've all been killed at this point, except for Terry's girlfriend or whatever she is.
Or whatever we can assume at this time.
Well, I mean, we can assume that they're boyfriend and girlfriend, but, you know, he's Terry.
Terry's only married to the Blade.
Yeah, he's married to the Blood Rage. So now at this point, she's already told him and several of the friends, you know, I've seen Todd. Most of them now have all been killed as well. So now finally, Terry runs into the girl. So I'm going to look at what her name is because we keep just referring to her as the girl or, you know, the girlfriend. So let's check this out real quick. But anyway, so she's like, you know, this is getting out of hand. We got to call the cops. And the whole time he's got the machete in his hand because he's already been like, you know, just killing people. And she's like, what's that? And he's like, oh, Todd had it. He's killing everybody all up in the apartment complex.
Yeah.
Literally almost verbatim.
Yeah.
And she's just like, we've really got to call the cops. This is getting way out of hand. And he's like, call the cops. Okay, so her name is Karen. Oh my God, that makes it, look at that. Terry and Karen.
Comes full circle.
Yeah. So he's like, call the cops. Why? And she's like, you know, they can handle this. Like, that's their job. And he's like, okay, that's what we'll do. We'll call the cops. And then he turns around and he looks at her. He's like, Karen, I love you. And then he swings the machete at her. So that's his way of saying, hey, by the way, it's me. Haha.
Guess what, bitch?
So she takes off running and he's like, where are you going? Didn't you hear me? I said, I love you. So
this is where he's becoming Patrick Bateman right here.
Yeah, he's full on losing it at this point. So, you know, she runs into the apartment where, first he chases her to the back patio where he was smoking the joint with
oh my God, this scene right here. Yeah.
So she's hiding she hides in like the little outdoor like patio
storage closet.
The storage closet. And he acts like he's about to open the door. And then he turns around and he's got this fucking like shit-eating grin on his face like only Terry could do. And he walks off and you're like, okay, he's gone. Well, while she's in the closet, she realizes there's a dead body behind her. So she freaks out. She screams. She runs out the door. And as soon as she comes out on the patio, Terry never left. He just went and got another one of the bodies.
The hoodie vest.
Sat it in
he got
the hoodie
Artie.
vest,
No,
dude.
he got Artie, right?
Oh, yeah, it is Artie because hoodie vest dude is in the closet.
Yeah.
And Artie is now like, he's got Artie sitting in one of the patio chairs, like flailing his arms around. He's just grinning about it. And she's like, why are you doing this? And then she runs off. And he just gets up and like starts walking after her.
Didn't he say like,
so then she
you're no fun or something like that?
Oh, yeah. He's like, you're no fun. And chases after her. And then she goes to another apartment. And it's the apartment with the baby. And she's trying to call the police. And then he walks in there. How she doesn't notice him well before she does. Because so the shot is like, it's a medium close up of her. She's sitting beside like the chest of drawers in the corner with the phone. And then he walks into frame, but all you see is the machete like dripping with blood.
Yeah.
And it takes her forever to see it, but he's right in front of her. Finally,
she hits him in the dick.
She hits him in the dick. Yeah, she hits him in the dick with the fucking phone. And for those of you younger listeners that don't know about those old 1980s landline telephones, those are some heavy hitting motherfuckers.
Apparently. But yeah, I don't understand why he still couldn't have stabbed her, or why he didn't stab her before she hit him with the phone. It's like, what are you, right? What's your problem? It's like, See, I'm literally watching this movie like this. This is probably the worst thing in the world to say, but it's like the worst. Like, I don't know. I'm watching it like it's Trailer Park Boys. Like you said, it's like just these people that are just on some other shit. And it's like this apartment complex where they live. It's like where they put like the dumbest fucking people in the city. And it's just like, okay, well, good luck at Shadow Woods, motherfuckers, because y'all are on your own. There's no laws here. Y'all just go for it. And I'm like, is everybody here fucking stupid?
Well, it is. I mean, it's like, the trailer park is the apartment complex.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like watching Trailer Park Boys. But
yep, which isn't bad,
Trailer Park Boys of Terror.
The Trailer Park Boys of Terror. Hey, that's coming at you here, Black Mass Film Special. But can you imagine like if this was happening in that universe? And like Julian and Ricky are just sitting there trying to eat some chicken tenders and drink some beer. And then like Terry just busts around the corner and Bubbles is like,
oh, he beat the shit out of Terry. It would be game over.
Yeah,
it would be game over.
Bubbles wouldn't have none of it.
Game over.
Bubbles would be like, you want me to pop you?
Game over.
But game fucking over. But, so now he's back to the chase. He's chasing his girlfriend. He just got hit in the dick with the phone. So she runs away. She goes to run away. She does grab the baby, though, at least. So now she's running away with the baby. He's chasing her, not giving two fucks.
Now the baby
she's got a baby.
Shaken baby syndrome. Thanks a lot, Karen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because did you really need to take the baby? I mean, I guess you did, but he wasn't going to kill the baby. He would have already done it. Like, you're just going to, like, take this baby on this hell ride across the apartment complex for no fucking reason. You notice that? Like,
well, I mean, I guess it was one of those moments of, like, she didn't know if he was going to kill the baby or not. But, I mean, I guess it adds to the, it raises the stakes, right?
High stakes at Shadow Woods.
High stakes at Shadow Woods Trailer Park. But so now, he's chasing her around. They end up in like the pool of the apartment complex. And Todd is in there now. And he's straight up like, I'm going to shoot you this time. But he can't do it. So no. Karen takes the gun, right? And she's holding it to him. And isn't it empty? Like she pulls the trigger and it's a revolver and all it, like the hammer clicks and that's it.
Yeah. So where did Todd get the gun from? I can't remember. He got it from
He took it from Dr. Berman.
Okay. So apparently Dr. Berman is carrying around this revolver with no rounds in it because, Dr. Berman's all about that intimidation lifestyle and not that actual like follow through. So this revolver, maybe, I'm not a gun aficionado, but it looks like it's made out of fucking tin foil. And
it does. It definitely is the worst looking fucking prop gun I've ever seen in a film.
And because I guess they spent all their fucking money on that dude, Ed French, letting him do the gore gags for Dr. Berman's death. They're like, well, that was the budget for that. Yeah. So guess what? Now, guys, we got to use this revolver we made out of tin foil. And so Todd's pointing it at Terry, and then Karen grabs it from him. And like you said, she goes to pull the trigger. She's like, I'll kill you. I'll do it. And she goes to kill him. And guess what? It just clicks. It's just an empty. It either misfires or whatever the fuck happens. There's no rounds in it, whatever. And nothing happens.
Yeah. Well, at that point, Terry's like, I'm going to get you. And okay. So I want to point out before Todd shows up, the what's with the fucking, so she's sitting at the edge of the pool, looking away from the pool, holding the baby. Terry comes in from behind her on the other side of the pool, and he's just like grinning. And instead of like sneaking up on her, he climbs on the fucking diving board.
Yeah.
And starts like bouncing it to make sound, and she turns around and screams, and he's just laughing.
So I wonder how much of this was actually written in the script, or if they were on set and they're like, you know what, Mark, you're just gonna be a dickhead. Just come in here and just do whatever the fuck you want to do. Just do some more of that dickhead ass stuff because you're pretty good at that. And he's like, yeah, well, guess what? I'm gonna go jump on the diving board. It's like it literally. I understand. Like, oh, well, let's make it look like he's toying with her. Let's make it look like he really is a psychopath. But at what point would a psychopath be like, I'm going to jump on the diving board and just jump up and down instead of just go cut her head off when you got the chance, like.
Right.
Just go do some. Just do whatever you want, Mark. At this point, it's we don't give a fuck. None of this makes sense, anyways. Just jump on the diving board.
Oh, dude, you think it doesn't make sense? Like, wait till. So, how about the very fucking end? Because this is essentially the last scene. And then, like, if you thought that this movie was going to wrap up nicely or have some kind of like legitimate, climax,
you were wrong.
The story was going to resolve.
It's just like
It's
just like Thanksgiving dinner with your family.
Yeah,
there is no resolution. You fucks.
Yeah. So now mom comes in because she's finally like found out where they are. Just mysteriously, she knows that they're at the pool. So should we spoil the end or should we let people watch it?
Spoil it.
Yeah, spoil it. Because I mean, it literally is all like the next 3 minutes is just like. So
like literally,
she comes in.
Nobody's gonna watch this shit anyways. Nobody's gonna watch Blood Rage. Yeah. So just spoil it as much as you can.
So mom comes in and Terry's standing there with the machete. So actually he's tried to frame Todd again.
What a dickhead, like even at this point. Yeah. Like Terry.
Yeah, so he tells him, he's like, you've been a bad boy, right? Well, and he gives him the machete, pulls the same shit where he takes his hands and wipes the blood on his face. And Todd's like, no, like that's his Luke Skywalker. Yeah, that's his Empire Strikes Back Luke Skywalker moment.
We're not 10 anymore, Terry. That shit ain't gonna work.
Yep, not today. So he literally yells no, like very Mark Hamill-esque, and throws the machete. And then they start like rolling around fighting, and they like end up in the pool. And Terry's like whipping Todd's ass because not only is Todd an idiot, he can't fight worth a shit, because Terry can't fight worth a shit either and is still beating his ass. So then they somehow they get separated because Terry's like, I'm not going to finish the job. So they both float to separate sides of the pool.
This is literally like a tale of like Donald Trump's kids. Like,
right?
Like, could you imagine them fighting? That's just what I'm picturing as you're talking about this. But yeah, go on.
Well, I mean, but so Todd's like floating over to the other side, and Karen's like, Todd, and she gets him out of the pool. And then Terry stands up and he's got the machete, like he's gonna do some more of that fuck shit. But
he was gonna try.
He's on but he's on the wrong side of the pool. So it's like, what the fuck are you really gonna do? So he's standing there, and then his mom walks in.
Mama Maddie.
Only this time, yeah, Mama Maddie. Mama Maddie. Mad Mama Maddie is what we'll call her now. So she comes in, she's got a gun that is fucking loaded, and you're just like, okay, what's about to happen here? She can hold him at gunpoint, call the cops, whatever. No, she shoots the motherfucker, shoots him dead, and he falls in the pool. There's blood all in the pool. It's not cranberry sauce, I promise. And then she like runs over and she's hugging Todd, and she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't believe you. And then shit, like at this point, both like, I've seen this movie probably about 3 or 4 times. Until tonight, I hadn't watched it in a really long time. But this whole scene at the end loses me every time. Like the mom and Todd both start freaking out. Tom's over standing at the wall, like banging his head against the wall. They're both freaking out. And then the mom literally puts the gun to her head and shoots herself.
Let me tell you. Hold on. You skipped a whole lot of important shit. Okay, so
tell me.
The mom crawls over, or Todd's dumbass crawls over to the mom, and she's like, oh baby, and it's just this really weird, almost like strange thing that like if my mom was saying to me, I would be like, well, first of all, why are we talking? And second of all, like, why are you saying this weird shit to me? So during this thing, first of all, Karen goes and she's like, oh shit, I shoved that baby in that cabinet in the locker room. I gotta go get the baby. So she runs out of the picture, goes, gets the baby, brings it back. Baby's alive still. Probably shaken baby syndrome. It's gonna continue the cycle of stupidity at Shadow Woods. And then the mom is holding Todd, and she's like, oh baby, nobody ever needs to be with us, it's just me and you now, you're the only person I need, and all this. I'm like, wait the fuck, what's about to happen? Like, is some weird shit gonna happen? Is it gonna be like I I don't know. There's a horror movie. It escapes me right now where like the mom and like the son are like a couple or some weird shit like that. I thought some shit like that was going to happen because it was like really weird the way she was talking to him. And
plot twist: the blood in Blood Rage stands for blood relationships. You know, so
shadow incestual slasher film.
Yep.
Anyways,
incest at Shadow Woods.
Shadow. So the mom then she starts calling him Terry, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "I'm Todd," and she's like, "No." She pulled almost like a Loomis. No. And then she's like, she thought she shot Todd. Right? Because she's still like, fuck Todd. I'm all on Team Terry because he's got good time management skills and he can actually get shit done. Even though he ain't letting me get, dick down by all these dudes.
He's got time for everything except letting me fucking
be happy.
Get it.
He will not let me be happy. But you know what? This motherfucker right here, he follows through with stuff. But so she thinks that she killed Todd. And actually she killed Terry. And then he's like, I'm Todd. And she's like, well, fuck you, you idiot. And he pulls away and then he goes and starts banging up against the fucking wall. And then she's like, well, I guess I killed my favorite son. And then she blows her own brains out. And you're like, God damn, what the fuck? And then, of course, Karen is the only sort of intelligent person in the whole movie because she just rolls the fuck out. She's like, I'm not even going to console this dumb motherfucker, Todd. I'm out of here.
Yeah, she's like, this is, I think this movie is a euphemism for being, in a relationship with someone and you're introduced to their family and you're at their Thanksgiving dinner. And shit just hits the fan and they're having like weird conversations. People are getting chopped up with machetes. People are shooting themselves in the head and you just kind of like slowly and sneakily let yourself out.
Yeah, you're just like, well, I'm taking this baby and I'm getting the fuck up out of here.
Yeah. We've all been there once or twice in our lives.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Yeah,
guys, that was really the end of that film. That's how that ended. That is Blood Rage from 1987, actually 1984. But they said, you know what? This is too great to let it come out in 84. Let's make them wait 3 years for this.
Somebody said the world's not ready for this yet. Yeah. You know what's going to be big in 87? Movies with blood in the title. So we're going to sit on it for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. We got to wait till Thanksgiving rolls around at 1987 and release this shit because, God damn, it's not cranberry sauce.
It's not cranberry sauce. So I mean, literally when he says that's the end, it's literally the end. As soon as the mom shoots herself, it cuts to a shot of her blood like running along the side of the pool. Karen runs out and then Todd is just standing there all by his dumb lonesome. And then it literally cuts to the credits.
So the one nice thing that the tenants of this apartment complex had, which was the fucking pool, because that pool looks sick for like a apartment complex. The one nice thing they had, they can't even have because this dumbass family. They're like, oh, guess what? We're just going to get blood all up in this shit and make it a crime scene. So the apartment, well, Brad, of course, he's dead. So they're going to have to seek new management. But then they're going to shut down the fucking pool. Nobody's going to swim over the summer. So it's like, guess what? Your family just has literally fucked everything up. Like everything.
Yeah, dude. I mean, typical,
There's always that family. There is that family. So I've done my fair share of living in apartments. There's always that tenant, right? That lives in the apartment complex somewhere that just like, they're a cancer to the apartment complex. They come in, they play music late at night. They're just loud. They're just dirty. It's just like, the fuck is your problem?
Running around killing everybody.
Yeah, you're just like, look, do you see anybody else chasing anybody else with a machete through the parking lot? No, you're the only motherfucker doing that. So you should probably stop. You should probably chill out with that because you know what? You're ruining Shadow Woods, you bastard.
You bastard.
Anyways, Justin, special effects were done by Ed French. I see that you got that written down here. He did Sleepaway Camp, Chud, The Stuff, Vampire's Kiss, and Terminator 2.
Just to name a few. Now, not all of these was he like head of special effects. Like if you go look at his IMDb, it'll tell you some of these he was assistant. Some of them he was like, second unit stuff. But these are things that he's worked on.
So in the next minute or so, I want you to tell me what your favorite thing about this movie was and what your most disliked thing about this movie was. That way we can get on to Trivia of Terror and wrap this one up.
Well, My favorite thing about this film, I mean, just in general, it is a fun film. Like, I know we gave it some shit, but I do enjoy this movie. I've seen it multiple times. I will watch it again. I don't know. I guess my favorite kill would probably be, I don't know. It's got to be Artie, just because,
fork to the neck.
you know, the fork to the neck, and the setup was just so cheesy and goofy, and it was just great. My least favorite scene would probably be the way longer than it needed to be scene of the mom on the couch on the phone.
Yeah, it's painful.
Because, you know, that was all like one take, and then they cut it up. It cut to that scene 3 different times, and I feel like it was unnecessary. You know, she's talking to the operator and stuff, and she's like, "Please don't leave me here alone."
In reality, the operator would not give a fuck.
My boyfriend.
The operator would be like,
"Yeah," it'd have been
click.
like, "Ma'am." Yeah, so that's probably my least favorite.
If you guys like movies like this, it's campy. It's very Sleepaway Camp 2 or 3-esque, right? Wouldn't you say? Like, I would say, I mean, Sleepaway Camp 2 is better, but it's very Sleepaway Camp-esque, where it's fun, but the gore is good, and it's stupid.
I would compare this directly to Sleepaway Camp 3, given like some of the whole "It's Not Cranberry Sauce" is such an Angela in Part 3 thing to say.
Oh yeah. So if you guys enjoy movies like that, Blood Rage it's worth the watch at least one time, and it's better watching with somebody else. That way you guys can make fun of it together. Or if you guys are watching this on YouTube, let us know what your favorite part, or, you know, your most disliked scenes or favorite kills are, or if you want to just talk shit about that movie in general or about us, put it in the comments. We love to read anything, good or bad. So throw that down there. But Justin, do you know what time it is?
It is time for you to ask me some questions in Trivia of Terror, because since we did take almost a month off, I apparently have forgotten how to podcast and didn't prepare any questions. So
that's good. I got you. So, guys, Trivia Terror, if you're a new listener, this is the way it works. Typically, I ask Justin 3 questions of horror trivia. Normally, he asks me 3 questions, but he's not prepared tonight, but that's okay. And we'll just see if he can get them right. And he's got about 30 seconds to answer on each question. So, here we go, Justin. Are you ready for your first question?
I'm always ready.
First question. Name 3 horror movies about mutants or people with mutations.
Okay, so The Hills Have Eyes.
1.
Chud.
They're not people. Are they? They're not people.
They're cannibalistic humanoids.
Those are humanoids, not humans. Give me a different one.
Okay, so let's see. I said The Hills Have Eyes. Mutations. Now I'm drawing. See, now I'm like,
oh my God. Think about it. This is simple.
The Toxic Avenger.
Yep. We talked about one on the podcast not long ago.
Oh my God. How long ago?
It has stop motion in it.
Oh, Basket Case.
There you go. You got all 3.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Let's go to.
But I'm going to have to look that up. Are you sure, Chud? Because it's cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. So, I don't know. You might be right.
What actor played Count Dracula in 1931 version of Dracula directed by Todd Browning? You know this is easy.
1930. That's Bela Lugosi.
Yep. Let me see. Here you go. Here's a hard one, guys. So I don't only ask easy questions if you think those were easy. What is the title of the Clive Barker novella that inspired the film Hellraiser 1987?
Oh my God. I fucking know this shit.
I didn't know this.
Fucking.
But that's because I can't read.
Well, I did because I'm a Clive Barker fan. And now I'm fucking like.
I can read, guys, but I hate Hellraiser. So you can crucify me on that point. I like Doug Bradley. Hate Hellraiser. What's up?
Fuck. Why do you hate Doug Bradley?
I don't hate Doug Bradley. I like Doug Bradley. I hate Hellraiser.
Oh, I thought you said you like Clive Barker. You hate Doug Bradley.
No, I like Clive Barker. I just don't like the Hellraiser movies. I think they're just. I like scenes from them. but as movies as total, they're just shit. Let me give you a hint. You want to phone a friend?
Yeah, let me phone a friend. I'm probably gonna get this wrong. I have read it, but
okay.
Now I'm not.
This is a
I don't
major
remember
hint.
the title.
It is called The Hellbound what? If you say train, we're not friends anymore.
The Hellbound train.
You got
that's not helping.
You got 15
is it
seconds.
The Hellbound Soul.
You got 15 seconds. Not Hellbound Soul.
The Hellbound.
14, 13.
I was
12,
just throwing that out.
11,
I knew that's
10,
not it.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
I give up.
4.
I'm not gonna get it.
The Hellbound Heart, 1987. Oh, published in 1986.
Okay, yeah. See, I've read it a long ass time ago.
Guys, if you are watching this on YouTube, hit the like button to boost Justin James' confidence that he got one of those questions wrong. And hit the subscribe button for me because you're mad at me that I don't like Hellraiser. Show me who's boss and hit the subscribe button. Justin, that's about it, right? Like, I mean, you got 2 of those right. You got 1 wrong. It's not bad, right? I mean, that's a 66.3% rating.
It'd be 66.6.
No,
yeah,
it'd be 60.
Because it'd be 33.3, right? And then 66.6.
Yeah. No, yeah, 66.6%, man. 666. All right,
see, look
go.
at that, 666. Hell, yeah, that's. I did it on purpose
for the Hellbound Heart.
For the Hellbound Heart.
All right.
And Jesus wept.
Let me know if you guys also hate the Hellraiser movies. I know I can't be alone. Somebody out there's got to hate them.
I like the first 2. Okay, Hellraiser and Hellbound Hellraiser 2. I love those. Love them.
But I can imagine. See, when I watch Hellraiser, I imagine a whole bunch of dudes in BDSM gear, just like all sitting around with a little gimp mask with a zipper, and just like fucking being all about Hellraiser. Like, this is my fetish. You know, this is my shit. This is my kind of horror movie.
All right. Well, on that note, leave a comment below on if you think that says more about Hellraiser as a movie or Andrew as a person, and we will catch you guys next week.
See ya.